You're going to want to tune in for this one.
What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Feast your eyes on what may be the rarest FXR of all time. I don't have the exact production stats, but I can tell you a few things. This bike, in 1986, they only made 900 of them. And of the 900, there were 3 different colors, and very few of them were the most attractive color. Here, the deep, dark, metallic burgundy and gray. This is the Grand Touring Edition. It is 100% original, right out of the factory, a one-owner bike who cherished this thing since it was brand new. When he passed away, I purchased this from his widow. A mutual friend of ours, Wayne, hooked me up with her, and I bought this, his full dresser, and his Ivan Stewart Edition Toyota Tundra. But back to this bike here, all of his machines were in perfect condition mechanically and cosmetically. It's been stored indoors since it was brand new. The original factory paint job is in excellent condition, extremely rare. We did do quite a bit of work to it when we got it in, went through the shop. But let me extol some of the virtues of this particular model for us. The FXRD came complete with this fairing. These fairings are highly sought after by club riders and anybody in the know. This is one of the best Harley fairings for an FXR or a Dyna you can get. It even has the original sticker up top here, which is something you rarely see in all the original hardware. The original glass in the front is nice, as is the headlight itself. All the lights work perfectly on the bike. We just put a brand new Harley Davidson battery from the local Harley dealer. It fits perfectly. Didn't want to put an aftermarket battery in this thing. Couldn't stomach the thought of doing that. So it's got a brand new Harley battery with a brand new, all the fluids have been changed in it. The engine oil, the transmission oil, the primary chain case fluid. It didn't need it. He had changed the oil every 3,000 miles since it was new, and he used to write on the speedometer with a white crayon on there the next miles to change it. We took that off, actually. It wasn't due to be changed till I think 53 or 54,000 miles, but we changed it anyways. All the fluids are brand new. The brakes work perfectly. The clutch, the transmission, everything is excellent on this bike. This bike's got a lot of life left in it. And back to how rare this bike is. I've been to Daytona every year for the last 30 years, and I don't ever recall seeing one of these, and if I did, it escaped me. It's like the holy grail of FXRs. Probably around 200 to 300 of these were originally made. I'm waiting on getting back from Harley Davidson the actual statistics of how many were made, but I know it was 900 total. Some of the features of this bike: the fairing, come up close to the fairing, has the high beam, the oil, the neutral light up here, the tack and speedo are in perfect condition. This even has the original Harley Davidson stereo intact, which does work. It doesn't work that good, but it works. I had trouble. I had trouble switching the channels on it, so it may need some service. I don't know, but the stereo, I had one channel that came in on it. Check this out. This is another feature you'll never see on another FXR. Right here, this little panel right here, the Motor Harley Davidson cycle panel. This has air-assisted forks on it, and it also has the triple gauge package: the voltage, the clock, and the oil pressure gauge. The clock wasn't working, so that was the only thing I couldn't find on the bike that didn't work. Special trim. Yeah, the special trim. It also has twin glove boxes on here, which are in perfect condition on the bike. On both sides, there's nothing broken or broken latches or anything. It even has the air conditioning or air vents, which are in perfect order also. The whole fairing, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this fairing a solid 9. A 10 being absolutely perfect. It's as close to perfect as I've seen one. Stock bars, stock grips, stock mirrors, everything's original on the bike. The paint job is in beautiful condition. There's been a little bit of touch-up work done on a couple areas on the original paint job. One right here, you can see there was a slight ding on the tank there and a little scratch. So there's a very, very tiny, small imperfection on the tank right there that was touched up. There's a couple scratches on the saddlebags here, I'll point out, the original saddlebags. And if you walk around, you might find a couple, like the back of the Tour Pack is beautiful. The Harley Davidson logo is in beautiful shape. Back to the differences on this between a regular FXR. You've got the front fairing with all the accoutrements that come with it, the gauges, the air-assisted forks, the special Harley logo, the Harley Davidson stereo. It also has a Grand Touring seat here. This is the original factory seat. You'll never see another one of these on an FXR ever. This is a very rare original Harley Davidson leather seat, and it's original and in good condition. It also comes with the tour pack. This tour pack was not on the bike when we got it. He had taken it off because he liked it a little sportier look. It comes off with 4 bolts, so you can leave it on or off. But this is something you're never going to see on another FXR. Check this out. This is original tour pack, and it's in mint condition with the antenna for the stereo. So just beautiful. All the original luggage rack on the back's in great shape, and the hard mount saddlebags are in excellent condition on both sides. The latches work nicely on them. So the main features that make this such a special piece, it even has this bag, and I'll open this up and show you. There's a little surprise in there. I'll go over what's inside there, but it's an actual removable Harley Davidson bag specifically for this unit. So the saddlebags, the tour pack, the fairing, these are factory items, guys. None of this is aftermarket. These are factory original chrome crash bar, and it has this, check this out in the bottom here, has a spot for the Harley lock, master lock, that goes to lock your steering stem. So pretty cool. The original, this bike came, ask yourself, have you ever seen an FXR with running boards from the factory? These are the original running boards and the original passenger boards also. The only items I could find that are not original on the bike is the exhaust system, and he did the intake. It's a stock carburetor, but it's got a Screaming Eagle air cleaner cover to in the K&N style air filter. So it's a typical stage 1 kit. It rides and runs like a new bike, and you're on a touring bike, but it handles like an FXR, which is the best handling Harley Davidson ever. The carburetor has a stage 1 kit with the jetting kit on it to match the exhaust. Other than that, the bike's all original. The Dunlop tires on it still have the hairy nubs on them. I would say 90% tread on the front, on the rear, 90% tread on the rear. The brakes work perfectly. We did just change all the fluids, including the brake fluid front and rear, and put the new battery in, so it needs nothing to hop on and ride it to Sturgis. So the paint job's special. The badging is special. The Grand Touring, did you get a close-up on both sides of the Grand Touring edition logos? And in addition to, on both sides of the tank, obviously having that, has the FXR Touring logo on the back here. One of the items that's not original on the bike are the shock. The original shocks that were on it needed to be replaced, and I have a huge inventory of FXR parts because I've been riding FXR since 1990. So 30 years I've been riding them. I had a brand new set of FXRS SP Lowrider Sport shocks that were new takeoffs that I put on here, which are the proper Harley Davidson OEM shocks that should be on here. So the shocks have been replaced, the tires have been replaced, the bike's been completely serviced, it doesn't leak oil anywhere. I have a friend who's got an original Softail 86 with over 200,000 miles. It's been to Alaska 7 times on the original engine. He's replaced the gaskets and seals, but the top end, pistons, everything's original on it. So this one's got 50,000 miles, which it's got another 50 before it needs anything at all. These are engineered to last. The Evolution motors are engineered to last pretty much 100,000 miles with minimal maintenance. The frame's in beautiful condition. The VIN tags are intact here. The only blemishes, the worst part about the whole bike, I think, is the front fender down here. I bought the bike over to Ed at Mill Street Auto, and he has the ability to do touch-up paint on that if you wanted to. If you buy the bike and you want the fender, he can color match it. And he's like, you know what, just leave it alone. It's original. They're only original once, so we didn't mess with it. So it's got some obvious scratches on there. There's a little bit right here on the front of the fender, right here. You could repaint the fender or touch the fender up. That could be done either way. The floorboards, there's no evidence of the bike ever being crashed. There's no scratches on the floorboards here. There is a couple scratches right here on this, and I think what it was is he had highway pegs on here. If I kept the bike, I would put highway pegs on it for sure. But if you zoom in and look at the motor, there's no indication of any head gasket or base gasket leaking. The primary is not leaking. This thing's tight. It has the original belt drive logo over here, the original side covers, original seat. Just a stunning original, extremely rare, one of if not the most rare FXRs ever made. I've got some documentation I want to go over here with you. Before I do that, we'll get into what's the bike, what do you think the bike's worth. It'll have a reserve set below this, but I pulled out the NADA Vintage Collectible and Retro Motorcycle Appraisal Guide just as a guidelines, and it shows the FXRD in a number one condition of $16,675, in a number two condition of $9,260. So,
may I chime in?
Sure.
Yeah, I think that rarity is subjective to production date. You have a 1986, which is 34 years old. It's difficult to compare that to a low production model such as an FXR3 or FXR4. I don't know. Those bikes didn't exactly pay homage to the earlier Harleys like this one did.
You can look at the title here and see that he purchased it on June 25th of 1986, and he's the original owner. So he did move to Mass and had it re-registered and titled in Massachusetts, but he bought it in 1986, and I purchased it from his widow. This was a second bike to him. He had a brand
Take the
new,
mic, please.
20 years ago, he bought a 2000 FLHTC, which I have inside with 33,000 miles on it. That's absolutely perfect, and that one's up for grabs too with a buy it now of 10.5. This is actually worth more than his FLHTC because those were kind of a dime a dozen. So we took the bike in. He had passed away about a year ago, so it was a little bit dusty and needed to be gone through from sitting. So we drained the gas tank. We put a new fuel petcock on it, put a new fuel lines on it, put a new fuel filter on it, rinsed out the tank, and put VP non-ethanol fuel in it. The carburetor was cleaned. The air filter was inspected. All the fluids were changed on it, and it's ready to go. So has a new oil filter, new oil, new primary fluid. We also put new plug wires on it, a new petcock, glass fuel filter, and of course the OEM HD battery. I mentioned the battery was charged prior to being put in, so to achieve maximum potential. We adjusted the clutch. We put 25 psi of air in the forks. The thing handles like a dream. Replaced the rear shocks with the NOS takeoffs from a lowrider Sport. We have a huge inventory of Harley parts. New plug wires, new petcock, drain, obviously put the VP in there. The grips on the bike are OEM Harley Davidson original grips in brand new condition. The primary, I'm kind of just reading off the list now in case I missed anything. Tire pressure was set as 36 front, 42 rear. They give it a full nut and bolt go over front to back. That's pretty much it. So the detail shop, Mark and Doc worked on this bike for a while, for 3 days, and went through it top to bottom, steam cleaned it, hand waxed, polished it, hand waxed all the paint on it. The cylinder and the head were clean. The fuel tank fenders, saddlebags were all hand waxed and buffed. The frame, the couple spots on the frame where the paint had chipped, they had touched up, lightly touched up. Wasn't like spray paint, it was just a little touch-up paint. The forks, calipers, and master cylinders were all touched up. The chrome was cleaned and polished. The seat was leather conditioned with a Harley leather conditioner. Miscellaneous chassis bolts were wire wheeled and cleaned, and just a full, what we call a rotisserie detail top to bottom. So the bike is as good as it's going to get, and it is an extremely well-preserved example. And I would say it was the nicest one I've seen, but I've never seen another one, not on the road. I've seen FXRTs, but not FXRDs. This is like the Sasquatch of FXRs. Just not, I don't know, there's just not many of them. They only made less than 1,000 30 years ago, so who knows where they ended up overseas, I don't know. So 34 years ago. So if you have any questions about this beautiful bike, give us a call, 860-454-7024. If you'd like to leave it on display in the museum, we'd love to keep it here in our Harley display. And let me give you a quick riding demo on it before I pack it up. I want to take it for one last ride, and then it'll be parked. So enough flapping of the gums. Bike speaks for itself. If you have any questions, just ask, please. Hold this. All of the electronic functions on the bike are perfect. The turn signals, high beam, low beam, the horn. He actually upgraded the rear taillight lens, so it has a blue dot in it, as do the turn signals. And he also has a, check this out. You see how the rear brake light flashes? The voltmeter works perfectly. The fuel gauge works perfectly. The oil pressure gauge works perfectly. The tach and speedo, everything's good. The neutral light. The only thing that doesn't work is a clock. and I don't know if that's something that needs to be repaired or whether the clock needs a battery. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. So it may just be a 12-volt battery in there. I never looked into it. I got to go over the manuals that came with it too when I get back, so stay tuned. See the metal flake in the tank now? So I was riding this down the street and hit fifth gear and gently leaning back and forth and feeling this thing flows. It reminded me of back in '93, I had a lowrider Sport that I brought brand new, and I also had a '93 Heritage. And the Heritage was fun to look at, but this is a kind of bike that you got to ride it to Laconia. You got to ride it to Sturgis. You got to ride it for more than 5 minutes to the local bar. You take this thing out for an hour, 2-hour ride. That's when the features it has on it, the rubber-mounted motor, the long travel suspension, the air forks, the triple disc brakes, the comfy seat, the highway pegs that I'd put on the bars. Highly recommend it. Those features really pay a dividend. Also, if you're going to ride a lot, you can keep a rain jacket, you can keep a leather jacket, you can keep your helmet in here. You can even put sleeping bags in on this thing, and you got a spot for a tent you can put on here. If you want to go cross country, this thing even has the glove boxes here to put your wallet and stuff, or a gun, or whatever you want to put in there. So, I mean, check it out. Nice spot to put your gun right there. You never know. So, in any event, check this out. This is the original 1986 Harley Davidson touring bag. 34-year-old. I mean, check this out. This isn't something you expect to last that long. It's a little vinyl bag, but it's original touring bag that is designed to fit in this saddlebag. And it also comes with a little Harley Davidson polishing rag that he had in there that you can wash and use it to polish. It comes with the owner's manual. This is a climber's owner's manual, which, let me show you what the real magic is. Check this out. It has the original Harley Davidson sound system handbook, original owner, original handbook, original owner's manual supplement for the FXRD models. So they made the T simultaneously. Shows the Statue of Liberty there. Imagine if they made a Liberty edition one of those. That would really be a rare bird, huh? They only made it in 3 colors. 86. They should have, but I don't think they ever did. And then if they did, I've never seen one. But here's the FXR FLT 5-speed owner's manual. So this is something. This is unobtainium. You're not going to find this anywhere on the planet unless you were an original FXRD owner. So, and it comes all in the bag right there. And it also, check this out, it has the original cassette tape with a Harley Davidson sound system operating instructions tape. I probably should listen to this because I couldn't quite figure out how to run the stereo. Maybe nothing wrong with the stereo. I must be too stupid to use it. I'm not sure. But in any event, just when you say well documented, well, it's a one-owner bike. As the title states, purchased in 1986, brand new. Original paint, original everything except for the exhaust. If I were to keep this bike, I'd put a thunder header on it and I'll set a long travel Öhlins on it and just send it. I'd leave the motor right the way it is. I wouldn't do a damn thing to it. Just a thunder header because I love the way they sound, and a set of nice long travel shocks, and that's all I would do. And I'd just run it. So this would be an awesome daily rider. Junior, is there anything you want to add? Have you ever even seen one of these before?
No, not this model. I mean, we've had some really rare FXRs through the shop.
Tell them about the one you just bought. You just bought an FXR yourself, didn't you?
I just bought an 85 FXR, just a standard FXR, nothing special. But in my search just recently, I mean, you come to find that any decent FXR with 50, plus thousand miles on it is going to start at 5,000, and it goes up from there.
Yeah, and you just not. I doubt there's another one of these for sale in the nation today. I haven't seen any come up. So this is the one. This is it. It's and it's worth whatever you guys bid it up to. It's worth every penny. I'll tell you that much, because this is the true unobtainium. You're not going to find another one. So good luck bidding on it. I'm going to take her for one last ride, and she's going back in the museum where Carl will be talking to people about her in the museum this weekend. Good luck bidding on it, and God bless America, and God bless Harley Davidson and Willie G. I want to go see Willie G this summer. Stay tuned. I'm going to go talk to him.